Hi, I'm Dave.
And I'm Becky, and we're parents to 2 little kids. Parenting isn't always easy. There are ups and downs, good days and bad days, days with way too much TV, and days with lots of laughter. Moments where you just feel overwhelmed, and moments where you've never felt more proud.
At the end of the day, parenting is super rewarding, but also super hard. This podcast is for all the parents out there who feel like they have no idea what they're doing, because we're right there with you. This is the Spillproof Podcast. Welcome back to the Spillproof Podcast. I'm Dave.
I'm Becky. And
I'm
I'm frosting a cake.
And this is not a regular episode. We're going to just do a little bonus extra episode here. We took a little hiatus, took a little break in the beginning of the year here, but getting back into it. And today is January 28th, and we are prepping for Owen's 3rd birthday party.
Yes.
So right now, we are making a cake.
We are?
Well, Becky's making a cake. I'm sitting here and trying to be moral support.
You're making comments.
But they're like the Muppet comments, like the peanut gallery. They're not helpful.
That's accurate. That's an accurate statement.
So if we sound weird, this is different mics, different setup. Just kind of threw this together. We were actually going to have a regular episode here, and just couldn't get tonight together. We had to run to the store a couple of times, and
we have bought 5 tubs of frosting at this point because the color for the frosting was not right.
It was not. And I mean, we're not bakers. We don't cook, and to match colors of a well-loved stuffed animal to frosting is surprisingly difficult.
Yeah. So I think we've talked about this before, but we do like a special cake for the kids. It's really the only time I bake. I bake twice a year for each kid. I'm pretty sure we talked about this before. We do a special cake where we make a cake out of like a character or something that they really like. So,
yeah. And we could usually give them the option.
Well, this is the first year we've given Owen the option. Every other year we chose for him. I mean, he's going to be 3 tomorrow, so.
I thought he picked a bluey cake.
No, we didn't tell him. We picked bluey because he loved it.
And then he didn't love the cake.
We just found that video.
So we only made Bluey's head, so it looked like we had a severed cake head.
Severed cake head of Bluey, yeah.
Yeah.
But Owen looked at it, and, as a parent, you spend hours, like, piping this cake, and he was like, I wish it was an owl.
That's exactly what he said. So, this year
it's an owl.
It's an owl. It's his lovey.
It's a replica of his beloved stuffed animal that he sleeps with every night and takes everywhere.
And it's almost life-size.
Has 2 of them. Yeah, it's pretty much
that's
life-size.
a fun story.
So I was originally planning on making 2 and making each cake look like his specific mochi, which is what they're both named Mochi.
But although we have 5 tubs of frosting, we only have enough frosting colors for 1 cake.
Because Mochi is like off-white and another off-white of colors. And we didn't really have the food coloring. Like, we had the basic food coloring that's like blue, red, yellow, and green. And you can't really make like
light
an
gray.
Off-white, like a light gray or like
light brown.
Light taupe, light gray off of it. So we had to go and get other food coloring, and then I used the wrong color. I used brown, thinking that would work.
Well, in fairness, there's a little bit of tan brown in it, but it turned into almost like a peach color.
Yeah.
Which is 1 drop of brown and white. It just doesn't. I don't know.
And then there wasn't enough white to like keep adding the white to it, even though I would only use 1 drop of the food coloring. So Dave made it like. I ordered the supplies earlier in our Instacart with other groceries, and then I got 2 frostings thinking that would be enough, and then Dave went back and got 1 more because I got the color wrong initially, and then I had to go get another two afterwards.
Which it's a good thing you did, because we actually had to do 1 drop of black and then mix.
And then add a ton of white.
Almost a whole nother tub of white with it to get the right color.
Add the mixture that we made 2 more white to make it the right color. So
just really diluted it.
And then we got a late start on making the cake because bedtime was interesting.
Yeah, it didn't go as planned. It's interesting how bedtimes can go super smooth, or they can just completely derail. And it
was like maybe a little bit our fault.
Yeah, it was. So what we did is we gave Owen a haircut, or Becky gave Owen a haircut, because she cuts the hair in the house and does a fantastic job of it. So while doing that, typically we need some screen time. We broke out the iPad, had Owen stand there and watch it, and that was what, 6:30?
It's like right around bedtime.
Yeah, 6:30, 6:45.
Right
bedtime is 7 o'clock, and unfortunately, when the iPad comes out or TV comes out, iPad is specifically bad because it can move, where the TV obviously doesn't move. And he just kind of
latched on
and wouldn't let go.
A little hard. And
I made the call of, because normally we let him either bring up the Pokedex, the app on the phone. We can scroll through and look at all the Pokemon, or his cars.
He's only done that once, though. Normally he brings his cars up.
Right.
And he plays with his Pixar, like cars, Matchbox cars. And we set a timer for 10 minutes. He's allowed to play with it for 10 minutes in his room before bed. And that's when I'm usually putting him down.
And we set the alarm.
Yep, we set an alarm on the phone. And it's been working really well.
Yeah, we let him turn it on. And then when the alarm goes off, he turns it off. And he's been having some really good bedtimes. And we started doing that because he was having some really bad ones. He was overtired, and I think that was probably one of the biggest issues.
Yeah, he is dropping his nap. He needs a nap still, but he thinks that he just wants to play. Sorry, guys. I feel like I'm probably sounding weird. It's because I'm like hunched over, piping the feet of this owl.
We both sound weird because we're on different microphones.
Yeah, okay.
Everything sounds weird, and you're going to hear background noise and scuffles and things like that, and that's the chairs and the piping bag, and because I think I'm in the squeaky chair maybe this time. Microphone setups and all that kind of stuff. Anyways, so he brought it upstairs, and I let him watch some of it while Becky was putting Emily down, and he lost his mind when the alarm went off because he wanted to watch his Cars, Toys movies.
If anyone knows what that is, you know.
Yeah. It's.
I rue the day we allowed him to watch that.
Yeah, next to Blippi, right?
No, Blippi's not allowed in our house. Straight up banned.
Yeah, we won't get into that, but no. It's it took
like a whole extra hour.
I was going to say it took about an hour to put him down, because normally we start bedtime around 6:30, and by 7:15
recently, yeah. We were putting the kids down later, but then we realized they actually go to bed better if we start heading up at 7. So we start the bedtime routine down here at 6:30 now.
Yep.
And we were starting it down here at 7. So bumping it up, it actually helps them sleep longer and go to bed easier.
Yeah, and we have found that Owen doesn't go down to bed very good once he's had a nap. But he skipped his nap today, so I was assuming we were going to be okay. And we went past the period of where he would have fallen asleep willingly. And we missed that window. I'm sure parents have experienced that too.
We also recently had him give up his passy at night.
Oh yeah,
he really only had passies at nap time and at bedtime, and we just really noticed his teeth. His front teeth were always kind of a
little wonky.
Out. Yeah, but we noticed his bottom teeth were starting to separate and jut out. So we were like, okay, we have to get rid of it. So we ended up cutting the tips off his passies and like that night, he basically rejected them.
Yeah.
And
he went to sleep though.
He did, and he got sick that week, and he still slept good.
And never asked for them.
Yeah.
Daycare weaned him off it for naps there, so he has been taking naps prior to that at daycare, but not home. At home, his naps he still used them. And I guess some things have happened since the last time we had an episode published.
Yeah.
But yeah, we did cold turkey, and it worked, but there's been some like weaning.
He's had some
effects.
like he was like fine, and then he would get upset during the day and ask for it, or like just a moment. His younger sister still uses it, and I think he was like, why does she get to use it and I don't get to? And he's had like a couple tantrums, which we expected, and we honestly weren't planning on, like, we knew we had to get rid of the passy, but it was like a random Tuesday night when we were like, let's just do it. We did not plan ahead, and Dave and I are planners.
Yeah, it was one of those things where it was just like, you know what?
It's now or never.
If we don't do it now, we're just going to keep talking about it and complaining about it and saying one day we should stop it. Let's just dive right in and we'll deal with the consequences. And consequences initially really weren't that bad, but they manifested in some weird, like he became a little more needy, a little more possessive of things.
Like really latched on to Dave.
Yeah, like... Which I love him, and I love that but he was already like that before, so...
But this was like if he woke up in the middle of the night, which he did start to wake up more. Normally he wasn't.
Because the passy he'd be able to
he'd
put
find
himself
it
back
in
to
his
sleep.
bed, yeah. So like we expected that, but he would only want Dave, which was like nice for me in the middle of the night. But then like he only ever wanted Dave ever. So, and then I felt bad because, like, I would try to go in the middle of the night because there was one night where he just didn't sleep from 12 to 5. And this was probably almost a full week and a half after he had given up the passy. So we thought we were in the clear. If I went in, he would just say, no, go away, get out of here, go back to your room, go to bed. And he would make me leave him, like, with the lights off and be like, get daddy, I want daddy, I want daddy. So it was hard because I felt like I couldn't help. And, it's like I couldn't also calm my son, which was hard. But
yeah, that does stink. Emily definitely prefers you, so.
I think she prefers me more recently because she sees Owen preferring you. So she's like, well, I got mom then.
That could be it. But yeah, it's just he won't let anybody else go in there. And then it's just... he's just become a little more dependent, and it's fine. I mean, at least his teeth will be okay.
Yeah, we're working through it. Like,
yeah, it's getting better. It's getting better.
We come up with a plan,
like
for how we're going to handle it. Yeah, and I feel like he started to cry a lot at bedtime, and so then we implemented the plan where we would give him 10 minutes, like even create. We've always had a pretty solid bedtime routine, but like really create like, here's step 1, here's step 2, and that's helped him just like settle down. And
we've talked about this before too, that Owen really needs a routine. He's very structured
a routine guy.
And there might be a little OCD in there, just a little bit, but tonight was just like on a new level of just frustration because everything we tried to do wouldn't work.
Well, we also brought the iPad upstairs, which was so dumb.
Which was a stupid thing to do, and
we were like, oh, we'll just tell. I was like, oh, there's 9 minutes left in this. That's your 10-minute timer. When this is done, it's like your timer's going off. And then we even set the timer to go off at the end of the video, and he was like, nope.
Yeah, it's interesting how we apparently must tell him, one time or, last time or something around that phrase, because his new thing is he says, no, I want all the times.
Yeah, he just wants to cover all of his bases.
Yeah.
He wants if you're throwing him up in the air, we'll be like, okay, one more time. or just a few more times, and he'll be like, no, all the time. An infinite amount of fun.
Don't we all? But yeah, it didn't work tonight. We had planned on putting him down, throwing the cake in. I think we forgot about wrapping presents, which we ended up doing. But I wrapped 2 of them, and the time it took you to wrap all of them.
It's a lot of Cars toys, so like the wrapping's odd.
Yeah, trying to wrap a car, like the weird oblong shape of the bottom and the flat part. It's just hard.
You're also more of a perfectionist when it comes to wrapping, where I'm like, fold it up, make it work.
Yeah, and I gave up. I just covered it at that point. It's you can tell which ones I did and which ones you did. Yours actually look much better than mine do. But we had planned on doing that, and then doing our podcast, and probably watching a little TV, having a couple drinks, adult beverages.
We still had the drinks.
We still had the drinks. We did. We currently have a griddle cake, so blueberry maple wheat ale, and it is fantastic.
I have a vanilla porter currently.
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
Trying some new stuff out. Figured, what the heck. But
so yeah, bedtime took a lot longer. There was a way more tears than normal. Hopefully he sleeps through the night tonight, though. I think his daycare person was telling us that the terrible twos actually happen at 3. Yeah, but they also told us that they don't happen at 2; they happen at 18 months.
Yeah. You know what? It's all the time whenever there's acting
all the
out.
times.
But he's to the point now where he's pushing boundaries and finding the limits. Yeah, so he's just been pushing his boundaries just like crazy. And his I want to say it was his infant teachers had said something about the terrible twos just pushing out into 18, becoming before, but also after. So it's basically just all the time. But tonight we know enough about our son to know how his brain works. And he, as I mentioned before, he likes routine, he likes whatever. But sometimes he needs to complete a task. He's the kind of kid who, if he has set in his mind that he needs to do something before he goes to bed,
or before, like, just in general, like if sometimes it's before bed, but sometimes it's like before
changing a diaper.
Yeah, before we change a diaper or before we have dinner. Like, he'll be like, I have to do this. And, like, we'll be able to tell, like, okay, this is one of those times where he almost feels like a compulsion.
Yeah.
He has to complete this or else he's going to, like, freak out.
I don't know if all toddlers do this or if it's like a thing or whatever, or if it's OCD, but it presents itself like that. Like, there's a compulsionary urge to have to complete this task before they'll do anything. And if you try to push them before that, they'll put up 100% of resistance. If you let them do that, they'll be 100% compliant. It's just, so that's what ended up happening is that he wanted to, what did he want to do?
He wanted to do his normal routine that we've been doing where he plays with cars.
Right. And we had made maybe the wrong assessment and said that
we'll let him finish watching this YouTube.
Well, we said it in lieu of. We said in lieu of bringing up your cars and doing all this, you get the iPad.
Yeah.
And he was probably so mesmerized in the iPad, he never actually heard us say that. Even though he did acknowledge it, it just probably
he was
didn't
like, oh
register.
yeah, that sounds good. I want to do that.
Yeah.
But like, we should have known better.
Yeah, we should have known better.
That was
so then we broke routine, and that was his big thing, is he wanted his cars up. Then he wanted to play with them for 10 minutes. And had we given in at that point, which was probably about 30 minutes into this, it would have all gone fine. We would have been
But then,
good.
As parents, you want to be like, okay, well, like, we're not going to give in to you every whim. There are boundaries. It was probably, like, the wrong time to set boundaries. But then, with Owen, sometimes he'd be like, oh, I got away with this? I'm going to do it again.
Yeah. Do you need to get more?
No, I'm done.
You're done?
I'm done piping.
What?
It's relatively easy. Once you get piping and
We're going to put a picture of this up
be.
On the Facebook page.
And a picture of his moach, for comparison.
Yeah. You guys can tell us what you think of both of them. And how you think how good it looks. But this looks really good. It honestly is, if you saw it, you'd say it was an owl. And if you saw his mochi, which is his stuffed owl, you'd be like, yeah.
Yeah, that's his mochi.
That's his mochi. That's his lovey. It's almost life size. It's a little bit bigger.
Yeah, but...
It's like a smash cake size.
Yeah.
It looks fantastic. The texture actually looks good, too.
Yeah, the colors came out good. The colors that took...
I couldn't do this because it would bother me too much that I have to be like...
Exact colors.
Yeah.
Guys, that's why I had to get more frosting.
But...
It ended up being the right choice.
It ended up being the right thing, which I didn't gloat about.
Rolling my eyes so hard.
You know what's great about these mics? They're so sensitive, they heard your eye roll.
I was going to say, did it pick up my eye
roll? No, but it picked up your... But, so we just wanted to put something short together while we were making this cake, and rather than get all the gear out and get it all set up, and just, it's a lot. Just throw some mics on, get the recorder on, and just throw this together.
You guys should have heard us before when we were fighting over frosting. We weren't fighting over frosting, but...
We were strongly opinionated on our thought process.
I went a little bit like Dave saying, that's not the color, and me saying, so now I have to go out and get another frosting. That's what you're saying. It's not good enough.
I would have gone out a third time. Which then evolved into... You spent $16 on frosting coloring.
Yes, because when Dave had previously come home with this new pack of food coloring for the frosting because we didn't have brown or black, and this packet had it, and that happened to catch my eye in the frosting aisle when I went, and I immediately texted him, was like, "You spent $16 on food coloring?"
There was a lot of question marks, exclamation point, question mark, exclamation point.
Yeah, he's like, "Well, we'll have this till the kids are like in their 20s, right?"
Which is true. You buy food coloring once, and unless you lose it in a move, you have it for the rest of your life. There are people in their 70s that have the first food coloring they ever bought, and they bake stuff all the time.
I mean, is that okay? Like, is that okay to eat food coloring that's that old?
Let's face it, food coloring is probably not good for you regardless, so it probably is fine. I don't think it expires. Like a pen. Pens don't expire.
Like a pen you write with?
Yeah, that's what I said, pen.
Sometimes I can't tell if you're saying pin or pen.
I say, I write with a pen. I got poked with a pen.
Am I right, guys? You say them the same, so then sometimes I don't know which one you're saying. It's pin and pen.
Pen and pen. I hear the difference.
Say it again.
Pen and pen.
But I say pen and pin.
So if I say pen and pen, which one was the one that you write with?
They're both. They're both pen.
No, one is a pen.
Okay, let me close my eyes and listen.
So, a pen and a pen.
The second one was the one you write with?
Yeah. See, there's a difference. You wouldn't have been able to figure that out if there wasn't a difference. I'm not saying they don't sound similar.
Good guess.
You guessed to prove my point.
All right. You know what I'm also thinking about is I've had two beers tonight.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to have a hangover in the morning.
Yeah, that's something we found out recently, that apparently Becky hit the age that
every
kind of alcohol you have, even a little bit, you now become super hungover.
So hungover the next day. Like I
can't hang anymore.
I can't hang anymore. I'm going to be 34 in like a little over a month. Mm-hmm. And I just can't do it.
She only had one beer or two beers?
I didn't even have two full ones. I dumped the rest of the first one out because I didn't like the flavor anymore. It was more of a citrusy one. But yeah, I can't hang anymore. Like one glass of wine, headache all day.
In fairness, wine would do that to me too.
Wine does that, yeah.
But cider did that to you.
Cider did it.
Honey Jack, which also has...
In fairness, I had quite a bit of Honey Jack. I think it was more than two.
2 fingers or 2 glasses?
It was more than 2 fingers in more than 2 glasses. It was heavy pours and 2.5, I think. But yeah, I'm wondering what this. We haven't had beer in a while.
We don't normally keep beer in the house. We usually do Honey Jack is what we have in our podcasts.
And we're usually like cider people.
And then normally we do cider. But you know what? It's just been a little on the sweet side for us recently. And we're not hoppy people. We like just regular beer, or maybe like the one I'm drinking right now, the blueberry maple.
Like it's just enough ale. Sweet. We like more wheat ale. You like Kolsch's. I
like that, and I like the sours. But some of the sours have been a little gnarly recently. Mm-hmm. Like, people are going a little overboard. We have a ton of local breweries, and there's a lot of like the one I'm drinking is a local brewery, and some of them are really good. Some of them are like they maybe took it a little too far with the sour, kind of like with the whole IPA thing, where they get so hoppy that it's just all bitter.
Yeah.
But so we wanted to just kind of do something real quick here, since, like we said, things didn't really come into play. But we took a little bit of a break here in the couple
the holidays
and things like that.
We thought we all had COVID. We didn't.
Yeah, multiple times.
Just regular daycare sickness.
We posted that.
Yeah.
We posted the Thanksgiving one right around Christmas, just in case anybody was planning on doing at-home COVID tests prior to going to the family gathering. Don't. We didn't in Christmas, and I think that's the next podcast we're going to have. Mm-hmm. And everyone left without COVID. So
yeah, none of us got it.
So that all kind of worked out. But we're starting I think this is maybe the first podcast of our second season here of this.
2022.
2022. Expecting about 25 episodes out of this. This is a big number, more than we did last year. And we're trying out a couple new things too. If you've checked out our Facebook and our YouTube channel, we're also doing reviews, or I've been doing reviews. We'll see if Becky wants to get on camera or not.
No, Dave has a better review voice. I could maybe be like the person, like you've done a stroller. Mm-hmm. And like our toy sanitizer, I could maybe be like the hand model.
Yeah, we did a review of the Munchkin 390 or 375. I don't remember what it is, but basically it's a big sterilizer. It's really cool. Check out the review on YouTube. And then we also did our Ergo Baby Metro.
Yeah, Metro stroller.
Which now there's a Metro Plus out, which basically looks like the same thing, just different color scheme. I think they changed 1 or 2 things on it. But the design's still the Z Fold, which is pretty cool. So we got that out there too, so check that out. But we're going to be doing a couple more of those. Like I said, we're probably going to do about 25-ish, somewhere right around there, podcasts this year. We're not going to do weekly. We're going to stick with the bi-weekly standard, just because weekly is really hard for working full-time and making sure we have enough time for the kids and editing and doing all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and just having 2 little ones and kids in daycare.
We don't want this to become a chore.
Yeah.
We do this strictly out of we do this strictly out of enjoyment. I like doing the editing. We like spending time together and talking.
I like having a drink while we're doing the podcast.
Yeah, it gives us a reason to drink, because drinking alone would be sad, so drinking together would.
Yeah.
This is social for us. This is about as social as it gets.
Yeah. Unfortunately, our social
this is about as social as it gets.
Is just Dave and I.
Yeah. And our kids.
Yeah.
Our parents. And that's about it. Since we're both working from home now, there really is no social anything. Which is fine. I'm totally fine with that. But we're trying a couple new things out this year. We'll see how they go. We'll see if they carry into the next year. But this is going to be the start of 2022.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think that's everything that we have for this podcast.
I gotta go clean up. I have frosting everywhere.
All right.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to the Spillproof Podcast. As always, reach out to us at spillproofpodcast@gmail.com.
We'd love to hear from you all, and we can't wait to talk with you next time.
Thanks for listening. Bye.
Bye.